I'm going to come back to the very basic question. If the spectrum is not going to be available in circles, and big ones like Gauri was pointing out there, Delhi, Mumbai, Maharashtra, Jharkhand, and even West Bengal, why have an auction in the first place? Because there are no pricing recommendations. Why have this farce of recommendations of pricing go in for a very piecemeal auction to begin with?
I think the core of the whole issue with regard to this particular auction, which is very different from every other auction, is the complete paucity of available spectrum, especially in the 900 band. If you look at the allocation among circles, for some of those circles and for many of those operators, it's a do or die, all or nothing situation. So that is the critical difference. So our fundamental proposition to TRAI is that the auction not be allowed to proceed until such time as the DOT has made available spectrum, so that our operators that have to bid are not in a do or die where their very continuity of service is put at risk, to the risk of the consumer. Because if this happens, my gosh, we are having issues just between Loop and Airtel today in terms of porting subscribers. Can you imagine what would happen if we had to try and port customers in the millions if there is a disjunction in terms of this auction going ahead? So this is the fundamental problem that we are facing.
Fair point indeed. The official recommendations have come in pretty similar to what we had put out earlier, but let's just actually go over them because these are official recommendations. I'm going to take questions with both you gentlemen and also Gauri in a moment from now, but let's get the recommendations up and going on air. The TRAI chairman is speaking as of now, and he has said that a 3,004 crore base price for 900 megahertz spectrum auction has been set. So there will be a question on the 3,004 crore base price. 900 megahertz spectrum unlikely to be available in Delhi, Mumbai and Kolkata. Again, this is information that you first heard on ET Now. He's also spoken about 272 crore for Mumbai, 73 crore for Kolkata Circle and 364 crore for Delhi. Remember, all of this is 1800 megahertz. Just going to discuss pricing with you in just a bit. Mr. Mathews, if I may come to you, 364 crore for Delhi, 272 for Mumbai, 73 for Kolkata. This is the 1800 megahertz that we're referring to. The TRAI chairman has now said on record what we have been telling our viewers for the last 15-20 odd minutes now, that there is no enough spectrum available, and that is going to be a constraint in the next auction. But particularly talk about prices right now. Do these prices work for operators? I know there will be some amount of restraint on finances as is.
If you look at those prices that have just been articulated, you'll notice that that is basically for contiguous spectrum. Now, it's very clear that the residual 1800 spectrum that is being offered in many of these circles are not contiguous, and there is no assurance given that it will be contiguous after the auction. So those reserve prices that have been articulated need to be looked at very carefully in terms of the basis on which those valuations are being arrived at. They do appear a bit on the high side given what is available, especially the non-contiguity of it.
Take it across to Gauri. Gauri, do we have more details, and what specifically is the chairman saying on 900 megahertz band? I know we've told our viewers it's not going to be available in crucial circles. I think that information is correct, but is he saying anything other than that?
In fact, the recommendations clearly say that there needs to be a fresh dialogue between, at the level of the finance minister, the telecom minister and the defense minister, to address the issue of availability of additional spectrum for commercial use. So clearly spectrum crunch remains the biggest issue for the sector, something that TRAI recommendations have highlighted. That's actually the biggest salient feature of the TRAI recommendations. It also says that the unused spectrum in the defense band should not be kept idle, and in fact in circles where spectrum assigned to defense in the 1800 megahertz band is more than 20 megahertz, DOT should coordinate with defense forces for the vacation of this spectrum held by defense in excess of 20 megahertz. So clearly TRAI chairman also focusing massively and very heavily on the spectrum crunch that is currently there in the sector. And also, of course, it has said that in the 2100 megahertz band it should actually be made for commercial use. That is the 3G band, something that that the industry has been talking about for a while now, and what the TRAI recommendations also say, that the entire 60 megahertz in the 2100 megahertz band should in fact be made available for commercial use. So the big question really is, will defense forces vacate 3G spectrum? Can we have a 3G spectrum auction at the earliest, given that the TRAI is also backing a 3G spectrum auction at the earliest?
The only answer that I perhaps have to it is that the two portfolios, defense and finance, is being held by one man. So if he wants a solution, they can all sit around the table. There will not be three, but only two people who will have to sit around and arrive at one. But of course, that's a pun intended. That's a very crucial point that Gauri is raising. And I'm wondering if Sanjay Kapoor is still with us, because I want to throw a question to him and then take the same question to Rajan Mathews. It has all boiled down to political dialogue at the end of the day. Sanjay is very much with us. The TRAI chairman is now saying that the finance, defense and telecom ministers will have to sit together. He's touched upon 3G, but of course there are no recommendations made there, and that is something the industry has been up in arms against. How are you reading these views that are coming in from the TRAI chairman, or shall I say the outgoing TRAI chief?
Well, I think the fact that a nation like ours and operators who are providing services to consumers need large chunks of spectrum is not something that has come to light today. I think industry and the regulators are well aware of this position in the industry. But I'm afraid that the progress that we've made in aligning all the stakeholders has been trifle slow. And I think this is now absolutely a stage where just for the competitiveness of the nation, more than the competitiveness of the industry and individual operators, that the government needs to come together, put all stakeholders together, and arrive at a solution sooner than later. I've always believed that spectrum, no matter whether a government agency uses or a non-government agency uses, should have some sort of a charge, even if it's a notional charge, to bring in prudence so that nobody keeps spectrum that they don't require. And I think, government has to sort this out with defense agencies and others. And I'm sure there are reasons that they have why this is not being released. But this is now at a stage where somebody really needs to press gas and come out with a solution on this. Otherwise, we as a nation are going to take long time before we have a broadband competitiveness with the rest of the world.
That's a fair point indeed, but I want to throw it back to Gauri, because the point that you raised, people who do not need the spectrum should not keep it, and they're not just talking about defense here, because the TRAI recommendations very clearly say BSNL should be asked to give up the spectrum it doesn't need, especially in the 900 megahertz circle. What are the other details you have on this, Gauri? Because BSNL is really the cynosure of the TRAI chairman's eye, it seems, at this time.
Supriya, that's correct. BSNL has excess spectrum as well. TRAI, in fact, the TRAI chairman is absolutely forthcoming about his views on if companies do not use spectrum, then they should vacate it, and there should in fact be a commercial use to it. It has also pointed out the extended GSM band, something it mentioned in the previous recommendations. TRAI recommendations have once again mentioned that extended GSM band, which is your about 890 megahertz band, something that CDMA companies use right now, should also be vacated and should be given to GSM operators, something that should actually make Mr. Rajan Mathews absolutely delighted. This is what they have been lobbying for. This is what they have been talking about for a very long time. And TRAI has once again reiterated its stance that extended GSM is a band that should be explored by the government. And second is, yes, it has said that 900 megahertz bands, there is some spectrum that should be taken back from BSNL and should be put for commercial use, should in fact be put up for auction. And this and one more important thing, Supriya, that recommendations have talked about is that in 900 megahertz band, pricing should be twice of 1800 megahertz band, something that we broke, something that we talked about. So clearly there is an indexation of 900 megahertz band that has also been put forth by TRAI. And one important bit here is that TRAI is batting for a simultaneous auction of both 2G and 3G. It categorically says that auctions in the 800, 900, 1800 and 2100, which is a 3G band, should in fact be conducted simultaneously. So there you go. TRAI wants all auctions should be held simultaneously. Well, who knows what is the status of the 3G auctions at this stage. Rajan probably would like to throw light on what will the industry strategy really be if 3G auction does not happen anytime soon.
If the 3G auction does not happen simultaneously with the 900, 1800 auction, we go back to this whole problem of business continuity. and clearly there is going to be some legal risk because businesses are not going to fall over when their very existence is at stake. So I think it fits in with the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of saying is that if you want broadband for all, if you want smart cities, if you want on-demand connectivity, if you want internet access at 600 million in the year 2020, none of that is going to happen without giving adequate spectrum to the entity and the industry that is going to make it happen. So I think for one thing, I think it's time for the Prime Minister's office. Mr. Nripendra Mishra is there. He has been at TRAI. I think the Prime Minister should now take the initiative of making this happen. CBI, I'm surprised, has not put a number to the loss to the exchequer for withholding the 23 or the 2100 spectrum. I think that's a shame. I think we need to begin to see those headlines coming up. How much is the citizenry and how much is the exchequer losing every day for not putting up the 2100 spectrum for auction, which is presently lying idle? We can understand if it was used by somebody, but it's sitting just idle. I think that's a great sort of disruptor, not only to the industry, but to the citizens. And I think this is what we need to really look at now going forward. And we are very happy that the TRAI chairman has recognized that 900, 1800, 800 and 2100 should be the ambit of the auction process coming up, because that gives assurance to the industry that they're not going to be held hostage through inappropriate auction pricing methodologies.
Rajan Mathews, Sanjay Kapoor and Gauri Dwivedi, thanks very much for being with us. Just a parting note, you wouldn't want the CBI and the CAG to be anywhere close to telecom than they already are, and I'm wondering why did you raise that point. Thanks very much, each one of you, for being with us. The TRAI recommendations is a story that you first heard on ET Now. We brought you all the details and, of course, the perspective from people who have their skin in the game.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.